So, what I'm going to talk about today is diversity, equity, and inclusion. Okay, and specifically how inclusion is exclusion. So, we see here an article that says, what does diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, mean in the workplace? An HR expert explains diversity, equity, and inclusion and the importance of practicing this methodology in the tech industry. Now, I'm going to say that ultimately the religion of DEI, that's diversity, equity, and inclusion, also known to many as didn't earn it, espouses a belief that places, organizations, companies, programs, basically all aspects of society should be inclusive and welcoming of everyone. Now, notwithstanding the fact that this particular form of inclusion is actually intent on excluding certain members of society, and of that we notably would say those on the conservative side of politics, Christians, white men, etc. This idea is ludicrous on its face. Even assuming that these people are sincere in the belief and they welcomed with open arms those aforementioned groups, this would be a ludicrous ideology that was doomed to failure. Okay? After all, inclusion is exclusion. Okay? That is the fact. So, as an example of what I mean by this, okay, we're going to use a little hypothetical group that I call the Superman Fan Club. So, let's start with the premise that a group of people who, not surprisingly, are huge fans of the character Superman. They gather together, they talk about different adventures that Superman has gone on, they debate which costumes were the best, they say, which actors portrayed him the best, which powers that he has that are the most useful, or ones that he has historically had that have been retconned, or whatever such things, right? Who could he beat in other fights? And what is his best villain, etc. They talk about all sorts of Superman-related stuff that they want to discuss. Everybody in that group is happy. They enjoy the time that they spend together talking about Superman. Then, one day someone asks to be a member, but this person thinks Superman's all right, but they love Batman. They love Batman. He's their favorite hero. But in an effort to be inclusive and allow for diverse opinions, the group leader says, sure, we'll let you join the Superman fan club. Okay, suddenly, this person starts speaking about how Batman is the coolest hero around and enjoys debating with the Superman people. And he says, you know what? Batman could beat Superman because of this. Okay. He tells other Batman fans that he's joined this group and that they should join as well. So some of them come over and they do join. Now, eventually, fans of Wonder Woman or Green Lantern or Aquaman, whoever, join. And then ultimately, they say, you know what? Why don't we have people that are Marvel fans come and join? People that are huge fans of Wolverine, Deadpool, Spider-Man, or others. Okay. Now you've got a situation where all those original Superman fans that were in that group that are sitting there going, we love talking about Superman. Okay, they find themselves no longer valued in that group because it's no longer a Superman fan club. It's whatever hero you happen to like fan club. And they say, you know what, this isn't for me anymore. They're saddened by the loss of what they once had, and they decide to leave. So subsequent to that, fans of the other heroes that joined, they say, you know what, I really like Green Lantern, but there's too much discussion of Batman or Wolverine. And they say, you know what, this isn't for me. I really wanted to talk about Green Lantern or whatever their hero of choice is. So eventually you get this once thriving, happy, well-ordered group that was all pulling together for the same goal, known as the Superman Fan Club. They have shrunk to this tiny little husk of what it used to be. And all the members that are left, they're not even talking superheroes anymore. They're talking about knitting or something, because that's what they all have in common now. The only people that are left are people that thought heroes were okay, but you know what, I really like knitting. So that's what they did, and that's what they're talking about. So in other words, by including all those diverse interests, the people who formed the group were all ultimately excluded from that group that they once loved. Okay, the sense of inclusion led to exclusion. Now, if we want to put something like that into a real-world example of how this can affect society in a very, very serious way, we need look only as far as the military. So when we come here, we see this, okay? And we see, actually, let's go here first. Boom. The military recruiting outlook is grim indeed. Loss of public confidence, political attacks, and the economy are all taking a toll, okay? So military enlistment and recruitment are down over the last number of years, and down in a big way. Now, the reality is as this headline sort of indicates, there are a number of reasons for this. But I'm just going to address the ones that sort of suit the purpose of what I'm talking about as far as diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, and the fact that by being inclusive, we are actually excluding. So when we look at this, we can say, what is an issue for this? And we'll talk about the alphabet mafia, okay, specifically. So in the last 5 to 10 years, there's been a big noticeable push by the military to recruit and to target women, lesbians, gays, trans, other associated identities. Okay. So with the addition of those other groups, we get a lot of other facts. So, for example, if we look at women and we go here to the ACFT scoring. So this is military standards, fitness standards. We see a reduction of the physical performance needed to be accepted by the military, at least for women. So if we look at this max deadlift, 3 repetitions, okay, we look at the standards, we'll just look at this one here, okay. We say for 100 points, a man needs to do 340 pounds and a female needs to do 230 pounds, right? If we go to something like standing power throw, and we say for 100 points, a man needs to do 12.9, a woman needs to do 8.6 in meters and centimeters. So you get a situation now where there are 2 different standards, okay? And why is it okay if it's a physical job that needs doing? Why can somebody do that job at 230 pounds? You say that is the strength needed to do it to its to the effective level. Well, then why does this person have to lift an extra 110 if 230 is the standard? You can do the job at 230 pounds. Why do I have to lift 110? Not me, but why does a person who's applying need to do that? People will see this and they will say, why am I being penalized simply by virtue of the fact that I am a male? Why am I being penalized? Because obviously I only actually need to do 230 pounds. And this isn't me trying to trash the women for doing this. This is the military brass that has made these standards. They have decided that you have 2 different standards for the same job. So, and additionally, once you add in the queers, and I'm using their term, that's not my term, that's how they often refer to themselves, and the trans and those who demand their special pronouns and everything else, you're ultimately left with a culture that is very different from what the military was when it was an all-male group. So, with an all-male group, the military, the historical view and perception of the military, okay? The types of people that are drawn to the military tend to be very masculine. There's a hyper-masculine energy to that. They very much enjoy the camaraderie of other men. They like the masculine energy of getting out there and challenging each other, of being fit, being fast, being strong, ultimately being a lethal and elite warrior, okay, who's going to stop at nothing and sacrifice everything to get the job done. Alas, okay, though some wish it were different, women and these other associated groups do not fit into the same category. Indeed, they're far more likely to be brought to a screeching, and in many cases that's literal, halt by being called the wrong pronouns or by not being told something in the correct tone of voice. Okay? The military, in their ultimate efforts to increase the representation of those groups, and by necessity, they have to cater to them over the traditional recruits. So by that I mean, if you have a mandate to pull in more trans people, and those trans people are saying, you need to call my pronouns this or this or this, rather than saying, you will be called what you are, you're going to be called what we determined to call you by the military brass, by the sergeants, etc. they're going to have to bend over and say yes. And I mean, bend over backwards to say, yes, we will acquiesce to your demands. That does not build an environment that is going to be conducive to the traditional recruits coming in. So in other words, you create an environment where the people who are best able and willing to create a brutal war machine, these people that historically are drawn to those hyper-masculine, we really like to get out there and do things and push and challenge and reach to the limits that our physical and mental capabilities allow. Okay? Those people see these other people. Okay? They see the image of it even. So they're now in a platoon with somebody who starts crying when they get yelled at, and they go, why am I here? This is not a situation I want to be in. I want to be here where people get yelled at, or, somebody says, you need to get up over that wall. And then they say, yeah, I'm going to do it. I don't care what it takes. I'm going to work at it until I'm able to do it. Okay? So they see this that's no longer presented in a way that is interesting to them. So subsequently, they're now being excluded from that organization because they see it as an organization that caters to something they do not wish to be a part of. So some may say that they are not actually being excluded since they can still enlist. But frankly, that's semantics. Okay, it's like saying someone with a peanut allergy can still eat an O. Henry bar. Yes, they can. But the nature of that thing, the O. Henry bar, precludes the choice of them to take part in eating that thing. Meaning, if they eat it, they're going to die. So while, yes, they can choose to eat it, they're just not going to. Okay? So in order to be successful, you need to have an organization with a clear goal. Okay? You have to have something where everybody's pulling in the same direction and they're fed and they're given an image that they believe is important. Things must be exclusive if you want to be successful. Not on superficial levels, but on purpose-driven and meaningful matters. Okay, a soft-top convertible can't include a hard-top vehicle. They're mutually exclusive ideas. And if society refuses to believe this truism and act upon it appropriately, ultimately that society is doomed to fall before those societies that do accept such a reality. Inclusion is exclusion. And we're going to look at some examples. Here we go. Woke U.S. military features lesbians, and China takes a drastically different approach. So we're going to mute this, but we've got titles so we can see. Oh, look, this story begins with a little girl raised by two moms. I also marched for equality. I like to think I've been defending freedom from an early age, because marching for equality is the same as getting out there into the trenches and dodging bullets. Okay? They're not. They are two vastly different things. And the person who's out there marching in the street saying, you need to respect pronouns, is a very different person than somebody who gets out there and says, hey, I'm going to charge that hill where people are shooting at me and throwing grenades at me. They are very different people. They are very different things. But this here is equating them. Okay? Oh, look, and here's the two mothers. Oh, they're getting married. How wonderful. Okay? That creates an image. And the people that you most need some filling roles in something like a military are going to see that image and they say, this is not me. This isn't what I want to be a part of. Okay? They are going to want to be a part of, let's look at something like this here. Right? This is what they want to be a part of. They want to be up there. They want to be Top Gun Maverick, flying the jet plane, shooting rockets, storming the fields, riding in tanks, parachuting out of planes, coming up out of the water. This is what those people want to see. These are two very different images, two very different organizations. If you have this organization over here, the people that are going to be drawn to this are not the people that will be drawn to this. And the people that are drawn to this are not going to be drawn to this. That's a fact. Okay? Then we come over here to Marine Corps recruiting. And we're going to scroll down and we're going to see here. We've got different videos. Some of them are undoubtedly pretty cool. But we look here. Okay, fit to win. USMC. Yeah, fit to win. Okay? And they've got all this fit to win, fit to win. Oh, look, they've got a girl doing weights and push-ups. Oh, fit to win, another woman here. Okay, we scroll down, and we're seeing all sorts of, oh, look, here, boom, right away, bang, it's a woman doing and talking. We come over here, oh, here's somebody named. Here's a named person, a path to service. Laura Wright, oh, a woman. Then a guy, then a woman. Lord Balderrama. Then we have another woman here as the thing, Marine Corps recruit training. We come over here, no more named people, no more, oh, Captain Kelsey Hastings, another woman listed. We come over here. Oh, USMCs, etc. Oh, here's another named person. Oh, look, it's a woman. Oh, here's another named person. It's a woman. Okay. Oh, look, a woman judge. So again, you get to this idea. So if I'm interested, if I'm one of those hyper masculine men who really wants to get out there and take part in things like this, where I'm storming the beaches, literally coming up out of the water, right? Guns ready. If I want to be that person, I come over here and I see these people talking, right or wrong, it doesn't matter. It's the reality. It's human nature. Okay, we're not talking about, oh, but it shouldn't be like that, or people should think differently. No, that's irrelevant. People think like they are because we are human beings, and this is the way that society, that people have evolved. Okay? They're going to come here and they're going to see this, and they're going to see this, and they're going to see this, and they're going to say, this probably isn't something for me, right? Odds are only the one guy is a named dude here getting a video on himself. So even if I join, odds are the woman who had to do way less training and way less accomplishments to get in is going to still get the plaudits that I would want to get. So I'm far less likely to get a video made about me than her when she has done far less. Okay? Or I see these people and they're whining and they're complaining and they're saying, oh, they're so mean to me, they speak to me in a bad way, etc. Again, we're not talking about what should be in some theoretical utopia. We're talking about what is. And we're talking about something like Marines in this case, but a military organization where you need certain people, certain attitudes, certain abilities. Okay? This kind of marketing excludes certain people who would otherwise be applicants, who would otherwise enlist and register for service. But they see this and they say, that's not an organization I want to be a part of. And I want to be a part of something that is hyper-masculine, driven to success, focused only on achieving the goals. Like I say, risking everything, literally risking your life to get the job done and to protect others. That's the people you want to have in there. And this will turn them away. That's a real world application of inclusion being exclusion. And ultimately, that kind of ideology will lead to the downfall of a civilization.